right, everybody, welcome to another edition of What's What BR. Today we have Brian from Elite, Johnny from Elite, and Ashley, who was at Elite. I'm Brandon Foreman, and we're going to kind of dive in today, talk to Ashley, get her to tell us a little bit about, what she's done, where her past, where she's from, what's going on. Brian and Johnny will add some dialogue with us here. So jumping straight in, kind of going into it. Brian, what's the status kind of right now on the gym? How are things over there?
Well, the gym's good. We have a lot of support from the families here. We got a lot of support from Johnny and of course, past athletes that have come through the gym. So that's really good. We're doing Zoom classes. So if you go to the website, the Elite Gymnastics BR, like BatonRouge.com website, you can see the classes. Actually just got 1988 and 92 Olympian Lance Ringnauld, who's actually now a professional entertainer. He goes on the cruise ships and Vegas and all these places and does juggling acts and different things. He's coming on Tuesday at 2 o'clock to do flexibility and conditioning and kind of a motivational, inspirational thing. I'm on the board of the Gymnastics Association of Texas. And we have him come out and do clinics for the girls and the guys, and he's phenomenal. I mean, when he says professional entertainer, he's top notch. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I've already I think I may have to up my Zoom channel. I think I might bust the 300 limit on that one. We got 100 with Colin Van Wicklen, the senior national team member, on Wednesday. But I think with Lance, we may bust the 300 mark. So that'll be good. So that's what we're doing right now. A lot of Zoom classes, getting a lot of support from the community, and of course having fun doing these sessions with you, so we can kind of get the just tell the history and the story of Elite, and kind of why people still are inspired, from the past, still inspired to help us bring more people in the future. So.
Awesome. Well, Ashley, how do you know these guys?
Yeah, we just met Brian recently, and Johnny reached out to me and kind of gave me the update on the gym. I went to Elite in 2008. I moved from California after high school and trained at Elite kind of with no direction as far as college athletics. Wasn't committed anywhere. And Johnny took me under his wing and really just paved the way and helped me get a scholarship at LSU. So I was there a short time, but it was very instrumental in my collegiate success. And I've maintained a relationship with Johnny since I've left there. He was at my wedding. Miss Susie was on the dance floor with me. So I've stayed very, very close with them and their family.
Awesome. So Johnny, I know you had a little bit of audio trouble there. Hopefully you can still, kind of hear us here. What's the story? Every time we've talked, you got a little bit of a backstory, so what's the backstory here for, Ashley, so she can kind of get it?
Sure. There's a huge story that you didn't even hear. So for me, I couldn't wait to get Ashley to your show. And one of the reasons is, it is very difficult to have an Olympic champion like Carly Patterson and Reagan Corville and superstars that have it all. They had a family, they live at home, they had everything going on perfect in their life. They had the talent that is like, you couldn't even mess it up if you wanted to. So for me, Ashley is the hero of all of them because she's more of the ordinary person that needed the direction in her life. She had everything it takes, but she didn't know how to open the box and get the tools out and build. And she's one of the most unusual kids that I've ever coached because she was so eager to learn. Like I said, she didn't have the best talent. She didn't have a lot of the qualities that made champion who they are, but she had one quality. She was willing to learn. She was open-minded, and she had the trust. So the ingredient of the trust We laid a plan, and she perfectly executed it. And she's got to be in a place
Oh no.
just as continuation for the dream. So the real Olympic champion is Ashley, because there's many Ashleys out there, but they are unrecognized. People don't pay attention to them. They're not that important because they don't have the easy thing. Ashley has everything today, and she may have had more things that other people had long time ago, but don't have it anymore. So the story is Ashley. Everything she got, she earned. She worked harder than anybody else, and now she's an amazing young lady doing something that responsible. She's a wonderful wife, and got married, and her life is the perfect life like everybody else. So that's for me a success story. The environment that we had at Elite and what I felt was right for Ashley was her direction. And as I said before, when we talk about Carly or we talk about Reagan and many others, every one of them has a name. They're not a number. And you go by the name, and you go by the personality, and you develop everybody individually. And if people would do it, they blossom independently because of that ability to see. So that is the real story about Ashley. She's a hero.
Wow.
Johnny, thank you. I'm so humbled.
Yeah, I don't know. We had.
I like his
another
version better.
Yeah, it's I really feel worthless now at this point. Again, I've done nothing here. I got Zoom to work today. I think that's what we got on the checklist. So, actually, it sounds like you said, originally from California, made it over here, before college. Were you doing gymnastics back in California and then came here to find a gym, or was it like I just wanted to go to LSU, or?
Yeah. And like Johnny was saying, it was very unusual, really unorthodox. I graduated high school. I actually had a scholarship to a smaller D1 school in California. But I got hurt, and just some things happened. And so I ended up not going to that university and moved after high school, and literally Googled gyms in Baton Rouge. And I remember seeing Elite and seeing their page, and I was like, wow, this is like an Olympic level program. I could just tell the environment was built for success. And so I was like, okay, I think I just showed up. I showed up, and at this point I'm in junior college. So it's very, very rare for gymnasts to get recruited outside of high school. It doesn't usually happen. So I just showed up, and I was like, hey, I want to train. And to much of Johnny's point, I wasn't full of talent. I was talented, but I wasn't the most, I didn't come as naturally or as easy. I definitely had to work a lot harder than some of the other girls. But I just remember being there, and for whatever reason, Johnny believed in me. And again, it's not common to be outside of high school and, in a junior college and still wanting to do gymnastics. For what reason at that point? And Johnny believed in me. He pushed me. He just gave me all of the tools to continue a gymnastics career. And it was so graceful too, because I've been out of gymnastics for a couple months, so I still just needed some nurturing in the basics. And he really developed me into the gymnast I was in college. And so, yeah, again, very unorthodox. Just showed up, was like, hey, I want to keep training. And I had no conversations with any universities. No one knew who I was or that I existed. And kind of things just fell into place, and right place, the right time. But so much credit to Johnny and Jessica and the coaches over there, because it wouldn't have happened the way it did if I didn't go to Elite. I would be in a completely different place in my life, and I'm certain of that.
That's amazing. I hear in some notes I've got here that Elite is what you still consider is that's your home gym. Is that correct?
Yeah,
That's
when I go home to California, I'm still close with my coaches over there. It was kind of an abrupt ending at that gym, but I still visit them every time I go home, and still have great relationships with that gym as well and those coaches because I was there for 7, 8 years. But yes, I think Elite it's kind of nice to be able to have a place when I go to California and a home in Baton Rouge. I'm a kind of this adopted child that, got to spend a little bit of time at Elite, but just they fully embraced me. And I do feel I can walk into that gym and feel like I'm home.
wow. So tell me, what would be some advice you would give to some of the younger, kids out there that are saying, I want to do this. I'm too late. I didn't start soon enough.
Yeah.
Or, we've heard a lot of stories where a lot of people have gone to birthday parties. Somebody had a gymnastics birthday party and they had fun. And then they all of a sudden, fast forward 15 years and they're at the Olympics. But for that person who's didn't start, gymnastics at,
Sure.
5, 6, 7 years old, what would you tell them?
Sure. That's a great question. And again, Johnny mentioned it earlier. Hard work, you can't replace it. You have to be willing to do what others are not. Self-accountability, pushing yourself in times of perseverance, when it's difficult, when no one else is doing it, you've got to be the one to do it. And that's across the board. That's not just, for a handful of people. I think hard work speaks volumes, but I think, if you're in a position where maybe you are a little behind or you don't have, talent or skills don't come as easily, you cannot replace hard work. And if you just put in the time and the dedication, good things will come. And I firmly believe that.
I remember years ago, someone asked me on a spot for a piece. They needed a quote or something I don't remember exactly what it was, but it stuck out. And I, just kind of told him, I was like, look, find something you love to do and show up.
Yep.
That's what you've got to do. Just keep showing up.
Yeah. What's the saying? Talent beats hard work until talent doesn't work or something. There's this quote around that somewhere.
That's the one. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work.
Right.
Oh, there you go.
Mm-hmm. And that's not, yes, I was the one doing it, but it's also a testament to the people who were in my environment, who were giving me the opportunities to do it. My coaches, my family were giving me an opportunity to be able to show up. So when there is an opportunity, take advantage of it and, give everything you can, and reap the benefits of, those opportunities.
How do you feel? A lot of people have told us that some of the skills and life lessons they learned in gymnastics, that discipline, that hard work, that we're showing up. It's everybody we've talked to says, that still comes into play. It's made me who I am. It's that foundation. I learned more stuff than what just was on the mat.
I have carried over, I would say, gymnastics was the one thing that I loved the most. And, being competitive, there's nothing really that matches it, but the time and the effort that it takes to be a gymnast and, most athletics carries over into many areas of my life, work, in my career, especially in sales, going out and showing up when no one else wants to. There's just something that is instilled in our minds that says you have to do it. There's no other option. You have to do it. Or when times get tough, there's a bad day, it's like, okay, how am I going to overcome this? Because I can't quit. That's not an option. So I'm so thankful that the sport has changed and molded my mindset for life.
That's awesome to hear. Johnny, this is becoming, a pattern as we talk to different people, that how gymnastics is helping, people. It's, they come to the gym, they learn some skills, but they're learning life skills. And that's something you had talked about, when it was important to you. You sold the gym. Brian now, owns the gym. Obviously you're still involved, there, but obviously you had to see something in Brian that would allow you to be comfortable with that handoff, that, you might, what is that's still there today, even though you sold the gym, is I guess the question where I'm driving to.
Sure, sure. Adding to what Ashley was talking, which applied to Brian and everybody around us, is, quality, quantity, consistency. 3 words. It don't matter how you jumble them. Any one of them would lead you to success, but the consistency of day in and day out and coming and doing something, it is very important. People can argue that the quality is more important than the quantity and what have you. For me, what I found, day in, day out, week in, week out, month and year, the consistency of what you're doing, it is very important, because if we expect every day to be a great day that we're moving forward, we're fooling ourselves, because that's not the way life or the sports work. But 2 days in a row of success may lead to maybe 2 weeks of success. That's going to lead to a longer period of time of success. And then success become part of you, because you get the majority successes. So the consistency of coming to work every day, and I would guarantee you that everything Ashley have mentioned to you, there's a very small ingredient that she didn't say. I bet she's never late, because she was not allowed to be late to practice. So she wasn't late to her wedding or to her work.
Right.
Because of that, because those are the little minor things that are in the big picture making the person a better person, a more efficient or more successful. I've watched Brian, and when I first met him, the quality that he had, he was ready to come and work. He wasn't he loved the concept of what Elite stand, what Elite have done to the community, the children and the families, of what they experienced. And he said, I want to do the same thing to the community. I want to add more to it. So we have the right person with the right quality. But I think the most important thing that Brian is doing, he comes every day to work. He's showing the consistency that he takes. His business is closed, but the gym is perfectly clean. Every event is ready to work. Every mat is in place to accept children. Every procedure, even if we have one child that's allowed to come to the gym, they're going to get the best service, whether it's going to be 10 children, 50 children at first. Maybe that's going to be the procedure of people going to get their temperature tested, everything going to be disinfected, everything is going. So he's doing all the work right now. So what I like about a person that would take over and continue the Elite mission, it's very simple concept. Come every day to work and make a difference.
Yeah,
so,
exactly. That's being prepared. That's, we
yes.
saw that at our company, when we kind of foresee this was going to happen, we took some time before the shutdown, and prepped, got our office ready and got our employees ready for remote work and did some training around those things. And then even while we've been out, we've been back to the office to get things ready. Exactly. You've got to be prepared. Nobody wants, at some point we're going to step back out of the house and we're going to start a little pattern of normalcy. But if you wait until then to start preparing, you're going to be behind. You need to be ready to go. Right. Go.
Brandon, for coaches, it's very easy to do, because we take the coach's mentality to the business. Because as a coach, I'm teaching a child a skill for today, but I want to teach a foundation for the skill of tomorrow. So I got to have one eye into the future and say, what do I want to do in the future? What is the future is going to be, and lay the foundation for the future. So we did the same thing with Elite, and Brian would come every day a month before we were shot and say, what can we do to do it? So we started to put in the social media and let people know how we are dealing with the situation before the situation arrives. So like yourself, we were trying to be ahead and see what can we do before the situation happened. Now, if the situation would have never happened, great. It just made us better. So I'm very sympathized to what you said, because we took the same approach to do things that we thought possibly can happen, and none of it is wrong to do ahead of time anyway. So great.
Well, I have learned since my excuse for being late, because I'm late everywhere. I have to own it. But at least I know it's because I didn't take gymnastics and have Johnny train me. That's from now on, that's the excuse. People want to know
You
why
would
I'm
run a
late.
lot.
Not your fault.
You would run a lot.
It is
Yeah.
Johnny Moyal's fault from here on out. If anybody, why are you running late? Johnny Moyal, look it up. So tell me, Ashley, you're in New Orleans right now, right? So kind of what are you up to these days? What are you doing? What's life like?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
you got the blinds closed, keeping the virus out.
Yeah, we've been here a few years. After I got my master's, I was actually coaching at Elite while I was getting my master's. Got a job in North Louisiana, met my husband there. Then he got his job here in New Orleans. So we've been here for, I guess it's been almost 5 years now. I've done all of the sales. I've done pharmaceutical sales, medical device sales. Now I'm in real estate. So I'm well-rounded. I've been doing real estate for about 1.5 years. Love it. I like it a lot. And then I actually coach 2 nights a week. Unfortunately, not at Elite because I'm in New Orleans, but at a little gym here. I coach level 1s just to keep my hand in it because I love it. And since I obviously can't participate in it as an athlete, coaching is the next best thing that kind of fills that void. So I do that 2 nights a week, and I work with the little ones. But other than that, we kind of just built some roots here. And in the meantime, we're just staying out of the epicenter of the virus.
Staying away.
Which means
Isolation, separation is what I've been calling it.
Yeah.
So tell me, the one question, I guess, to jump back a little bit in history real quick was you talked about, and Johnny talked about being late, kind of it's abnormal, didn't have the scholarship. And it does sound like, and I'm learning more about this world, as we've talked with different people. How does that work? Is that like, did you go make an appointment with a coach, and say like, hey, watch me do this? Or is this like Johnny make that phone call? Like, how do you go to, a school like LSU, and say, hey, I got something to show you?
Yeah. So I was training, and I think I got there in the summer of 2008. And there was 2 other girls who were my age, Scarlett and Olivia, who were a year younger than me. And they were maybe 2 years. I don't remember, Johnny, if they're 1 or 2, maybe 2 years younger than me. So they were being heavily recruited by D1 SEC schools. And LSU coaches, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure it was Bob Moore. He came in to see Olivia and Scarlett because, again, no one knew I existed. And I was vaulting, and vault was my strongest event. And Johnny filled in the gaps, and I may not have this all correctly, but I'm pretty sure I was just training, and Bob asked Johnny, like, who's this random 17-year-old who is in junior college? Who's this? We've never seen her before. She knew. And Bob and I had a couple conversations, and I was asked to walk on the spring of 2009, and was elated, obviously. And then I ended up earning a full ride scholarship a semester later. And
wow.
So, which again, never happens. SEC schools typically don't have an extra scholarship floating around, for one. And it's very rare for a walk-on, especially in gymnastics, because scholarships are so few, to get a full ride. So I'm a person of faith, so I do think,
Absolutely.
God had a hand in all of it, and just being in the right place, the right time, and just willing to work.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that is definitely, God's got his way of making it work out, even
If
at
I
the
can,
11th hour,
Brandon,
right?
may I add to it? May I add to that story a little bit?
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's something
Well, first
you're about to
answering the
find
I'll
out.
have something
question,
out.
that's a very good question. How does an athlete get noticeable, whatever? So the traditional approach would be you have to send so many videos to colleges, you have to market yourself, you have to basically sell yourself. The family does it and take video. However, there are some premier programs in the country that college coaches know what they're getting. They know the type of athlete they're going to get. It's going to be a disciplined athlete. They're going to be in good shape, and they're going to do healthy gymnastics. We are fortunate to send over 23 kids to colleges. That means the college coaches come to us basically, and they say, what do you got? Yeah. And we'll say, come over, fix a cup of coffee, and they come within the NCAA rule, and they look at the athlete, and that's how it is. So we have a great advantage because the college coaches know the product, which means they know what type of athletes they're going to get. So that make it very easier. It exists in football and basketball. Certain programs, they're just known to produce terrific athletes, and that's what it is. So that makes it easy. Now, the story about Ashley, that was very correct. They came to check Scarlett, which was half committed to Arkansas on full scholarship, and Olivia at the time was Alabama, was recruited by Alabama. So he come to watch them, and I remember turning to him and he said, well, I'm looking for somebody on vault, whatever. And I told him, I said, don't look at the other two. That's not the one you want. I said, you see that, Ashley? If you look for a vaulter, that is the person you need. The reason is because in college, you're allowed to do only one vault. That means in a JO, you can do 2 vaults. If the first vault is not good, then you said, let me take the score of the second one. Ashley was the type of person that had to get it right the first time. Failure was not an option for her. So I said, that is the person you want because she would not fail. You give her one chance and you'll never regret. So they gave her a chance. She walked onto the school and they have to they gave her scholarship because they realized she don't fail at doing what she's doing. And she was everything that she has told him she can do. Again, we gave her the tool, but the personality of failure was not an option. Was very important, especially when you get one chance as it, one vote. You cannot mess it up. So that was the beginning of her success, I believe, being able to perform under pressure and knowing that there's no stepping back. That's not the option. So this is a little bit of the fullest version. So.
That's the one. As I watch this, I like one day I'm either gonna have to come by the gym. Somebody's gonna have to send me a link to a video. Like I don't even know where you begin to practice. Like you just got to run full speed
at a stationary object.
Yes, that doesn't move, and then like bounce off a board, to get to it, and then it's not like you can half do it, right? It's all the way. You're full. You can't like let me do this slowly to perfect it. You've got to do it all the way, all in every time. And I don't know how you practice it.
It is started at a preschool class. You can start in a preschool class and you run and you learn to hit the board. You may be a vaulter in college. So it's got to start at a very early age with fun.
Well, here's something I wanted to get, Johnny, your opinion on. My father actually pointed this out to me the other day. We talking scholarships and how rare they are. From what I understand, I think this maybe is still in the air, so maybe it's premature, but we were talking about it with baseball, that how a lot of these athletes are going to get another year of eligibility, that they're going to give them, because of, what's happened here. But is anybody, given thought to, well, you've got X number of scholarships, you've got typically people that are leaving and new people coming in with taking the scholarship, but maybe the guy that was leaving or girl, we've got a problem. Has anybody got any, thoughts on has anybody heard how does that work? If it's like this guy's leaving and his scholarship becomes available, and this guy comes back in with another year of eligibility, but yet we can only have so many people on the team, have you heard anything about these kind of things, Johnny, or? Ever?
I believe that the NCAA will get together. It doesn't mean that the result will be pleasing, but I'm sure that the NCAA is well aware of that, and they have to address the issue because you're right. It's going to create shortage in scholarship because there's an extra year. A scholarship was already awarded for a senior, but they're going to stay one more year. So I do hope that the NCAA will honor the commitment to the athletes by adding an extra scholarship for 1 year for the next cycle of competition. I would think that something is going to be addressed, and you know, they are a very professional organization. Again, the outcome is not always what we expect, but as long as they talk about it, which I'm not aware of, I'm sure that's in discussion. So, but that's a good question for the NCAA organization.
Yeah, we'll look into getting somebody from there. Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Not so
great
much.
point.
Well, all right, guys. Well, anybody got anything else that you feel you need to get off your chest? Let everybody know kind of what's going on. I know, Brian, we've talked. The gym is ready. We're all ready to get back out. I think everybody's. I think families are looking for anybody. Please take my child for an hour. 2 hours.
That's the same thing.
Well, the great thing is that they're calling and they're wanting to know about camp, like summer camp. Like they're still, can we register? Can we sign up? All this. So I still have registrations coming for summer camp. So we still have spots open. I'm not sure what that's going to look like at the moment, but we have it open for all the weeks of summer, which again we don't know what that's going to look like because I'm hearing there could be a shortened summer. We could have more like a 6 to 8 week summer period and start school early to try to play catch up from what we missed. And I'm sure someone will figure all that out. But I saw some articles earlier this week that I guess the legislature was going back and forth with how to handle the school. So when they figure that out, they'll kind of let us know and then we can adjust. But I got people still interested in summer camps. I got people wanting to do birthday parties. They're signing up to do birthday parties. And of course, the infamous kids night out on Friday. Interestingly enough, yes, people have still called and wanted to know when we open back up, will we have the Friday program? And the answer is yes. As soon as we can open the doors, we'll do the best we can with what we're given to allow in, and we'll have the Friday program back. So the gym's ready, the staff is ready.
I'm hearing the same thing. I've got we've talked to a lot of camps, and they're excited and ready. We all know we're going to get through this. It's going to be interesting whenever we do get on the other side, how much is going to be, moving, how fast people are going to want to be able to start doing things. So I think everybody's, now's the time to prepare. Make sure your house is in order. Take care of yourself, your family, your employees, and be ready, because I think there's a lot to come. So, well, look, I want to thank everybody for taking part in this today. These are fun all the time. I've learned more about, gymnastics and collegiate sports than I've ever, wanted to. I just know I could never do it, so there's no way in the world. But I think I've got 3 kids of mine that could possibly be, doing this because, as I said the other day, my daughter doesn't walk through the house. She cartwheels through the house. And so awesome. I'm hearing that's a sign. So,
yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Brian. And Brandon, thank you guys. And Johnny, thank you for the kind words. This was great. And I'm so excited for Elite. I think that there's so much support and just encouragement. And, we're just so excited for you. And, I love the program and it'll always have such a special place in my heart. So we're pulling for you, Brian.
You got to stop by so we can actually meet in person.
Yeah.
And hang out for a little bit. But as Reagan put it, Reagan said she was glad to see that there was life back in Elite. So you can come in and probably it'll hit you that, wow, it's really coming back to what it was when you were here. So, I heard it kind of went down a little bit, but now we're back in that culture of everybody feeling like Elite's home and we're one big family. So that's, you got to come hang out and say hi to Johnny and Susie and everybody.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
All right.
We'll see you soon.
All right, everybody have a good day. Stay safe, and go to church online this weekend.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Perfect.
All right.
See you, Brandon. See you, Johnny.
See ya.
Okay.